Hello, hold on. Let's see what's happening here.
Ito ang Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang naiba at kakaibang plataforma sa digital broadcast mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan mula sa walang labis at walang ulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, Chikahan at Kaalamang Pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, Chikahan at Kaalamang Pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techiemommy, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hello everyone! Happy Monday po. It's Monday once again, the start of a new week, start of new hope, start of new things and endeavors. Magandang umaga po at happy Monday. Lunes na naman po, nagdaan na naman ang isang weekend in March. Actually, we're already on our third week of March. Napakabilis ng panahon. The first quarter of the year is almost done. It's spring in other countries. At sa atin po ay nag-umpisa ng uminit ang panahon dahil po of course sa nalalapit na ang Holy Week at undas. Undas na yun. Hindi pala, sorry. Tama. Undas is Holy Week. Yeah. Is Undas Holy Week? Okay, yun tama. Kaya umiinit na naman ang panahon, right? But yes, of course, we start with current events and technology happening around the world. Una po nating pag-uusapan first, of course, is yung magandang status ng ating bansa regarding COVID-19. Okay? Not anymore, huwag na nating pag-usapan yung gera na talaga namang alam nating nangyayari. Ngayon, ayaw natin magkaroon ng world war. Ayan po ang ating gustong iwasan na mangyari. Let's have some good news muna along the way, okay? A bit of good news, okay? Good news muna. Sandali lang makita. Okay? Alright. Kita niyo po ito sa aking screen. Alright. Magandang balita muna. Let's start with good news, okay? The Philippines still at very low risk for COVID-19 rise in infections in other Asian countries amid the rising infections in other Asian countries, okay? Okay, COVID-19 numbers in East Asia as of March 18, 2022. Tingnan niyo po itong graph na to, no? Kita niyo po dyan. The growth rate in new cases current week versus previous week. An average number of new cases per 100,000 people. Indicators na ito po. The Philippines remained under very low risk classification for COVID-19 despite the surge of neighboring countries. Okay? The independent research group also said nung Sunday po, March 20. Based on the update shared by Twitter, okay, based on the update shared by Dr. Guido David on Twitter, okay, the Philippines classification, okay, ano ba ito? Sandali lang. The Philippines, okay, ang dami-dami kasi nag-i-include ng mga ads, nakakaloka talaga. Ito na. Yung Manila Bulletin ko, napaka puro ads. Okay, mayaman, alright? The Philippines remain under very low risk classification. Based on the update shared by Octa fellow Dr. Guido David on Twitter, the Philippines' overall COVID-19 risk classification remained very low, with an average daily attack rate of 0.47 as of March 18. Okay? The ADAR, or incidence rate, refers to the number of new daily cases per 100,000 population. The Philippines averaged 527 cases daily. Wow, which is record number na to since it started in COVID-19, na less number of people affected. Over the past week, with a growth rate of negative 22%. Moreover, Timor-Leste, Taiwan, Cambodia, and China were also at very low risk for COVID-19. OCTA uses the International Developed COVID Act Now metrics to determine the risk levels of specific areas. Hello, Ms. Angelica. Good morning. Salamat po for support, hearts, and stars palagi. Salamat. Maraming salamat. Okay. However, going back to the news about the Philippines being in the low risk, ano pa rin, tingnan nyo na po yung grid, no? Tayo po ang pinakamababa, right? Hindi pala. Isa sa pinakamababa, followed by Cambodia, Taiwan, and Timor-Leste, okay? So China, bakit na-mention China, mas mataas doon. Okay. Basta ang Myanmar, after sa Myanmar tayo, Philippines, Cambodia 148, Taiwan 71 lang, ang Timor-Leste 2 lang, okay? Ganyan naman ang Taiwan palaging pinamababa. Pero hindi na rin tayo nalalayo. Very good. Thank you so much. 527. That's why we're almost living close to normal lives already, right? Pinaka-highest rate of infections ang South Korea. Ano nangyari? Dati ang ganda-ganda ng kanilang mga protocols. Pati Vietnam, dumami na. And Japan. Ay. Okay? Sa Japan, ang dami talaga. Kasi doon, hindi naman kasi para nag-restrict at all. They never followed any strict protocols of social distancing, much less closing bars and restaurants doon sa kasagsagan ng pandemya. So, hindi mo masisisi o magtataka kung marami pa rin infection sa Japan, okay? The vid noted a surge in fresh cases in South Korea, Vietnam, China, and Laos, okay? China registered the highest weekly growth rate at 362%, followed by Laos, 185%, South Korea, 32%, and Vietnam, 38%. Okay. Alright. So, yun po ang latest tungkol sa pag-spread ng virus at tayo po ay nasa very low risk. One of the lowest, okay, in Asia. Alright. Magandang balita yon. Okay, good job. Ngayon naman po, let's go naman and talk about, tungkol sa election naman tayo. Right? Kasi yan naman ang mga issues ngayon. Election. Alright. Let's talk about elections. Okay. What is happening? Oh, no. The elections first. Okay. Let's talk about the elections. Okay. Ay, sus! Magkamali na naman ako ng pindot. Ayan. Ito ang aking inaayos. Oh my goodness. Alright. Ask on curbing corruption, VP Betts call for digitalization, stronger judiciary, okay? Kailangan daw mag-digitalize, no? Para magkaroon ng mas accurate na pagtatali, alright? Okay? Asking for curbing of corruption, the VP Presidential Betts call for digitalization, stronger judiciary, okay? Ito pang balita recently on the weekend. Most of the country's vice presidential candidates said one corruption watchdog is not enough to keep an eye on the government. Totoo naman, no? Do you agree, Angelica? Hindi lang dapat isa ang watchdog. Okay? To keep an eye on the government. Instead, candidates pitched ideas from modernizing agencies, increasing the budget of agencies to attract manpower, to having an internal government overhaul. Oh, overhaul daw ang hinihingi, oh. Okay. The Commission on Elections held debates for vice presidential candidates Sunday evening po, kagabi, where aspirants were asked, should there only be one agency focused on busting corruption with the government, just like how it is sa Singapore tsaka sa Hong Kong? Okay. Ito po ang kanya-kanyang contention or opinion po ng mga vice presidential candidates. Okay. Galing kay Rizalito David, Democratic Party of the Philippines Vice Presidential Candidate David said that the current system with multiple agencies to focus on ensuring accountability with the government is good enough. However, stress din niya na immortality is the main problem of the country. Okay? Sabi naman ni Manny Lopez, running under Labor Party Pilipinas or Philippines, Labor Party Philippines, he believes that it is not feasible to have one agency, hindi daw tama na isa lang ang agency in charge of busting corruption in our country. Okay, sinabi niya na the solution to fighting corruption is through promoting good and just practices. He also pushed for heavier penalties for those found guilty of graft and corruption. Talaga naman, di ba? Para magtanda yan eh. Dapat lang talaga stiffer penalties for those who are nabbed for graft and corruption. Sabi naman, basta't ng Vice Presidential Candidate Dr. Willie Ong, aliado ni Isko Moreno, Action Democratico Bet Ong focused on the Commission on Audit, suggesting that the agency's findings be made available to the public with due process. COA reports or COA reports are already actually published on its website. He also put forward the idea kailangan daw i-rotate yung mga auditors among the agencies para to prevent collusion. Okay? Mas mamamonitor daw nito ang mga finances, di ba? Ong also stressed the importance of the Freedom of Information Bill and how officials should make their statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth forms public. He also said congressmen should have a roadmap or a detailed developmental fund for their projects. Citing experts, he also emphasized that going digital will help minimize corruptions. According naman to Senator Kiko Francis Pangilinan, running mate ni Vice President Leni Robredo, Liberal Party's Senator Pangilinan said the government's anti-corruption agency should be the judiciary and that their budget should be doubled. Dapat daw doblehin ang budget ng judiciary and they need to expedite the processing of cases. Okay? Ang problema kasi, kulang ang budget ng hudikatura. Wala pang 2% ang kabuoang budget ng ating gobyerno, sinabi ni Pangilinan. The problem is the judiciary lacks funds. It doesn't even take up 2% of the government's whole budget. He stressed that courts lack manpower because lawyers do not want to take low-paying government jobs. Meanwhile, he said litigation of cases in the Philippines often take up to 6 years. We must modernize our judiciary so that the corruption drive would be meaningful, Pangilinan said. Carlos Serapio naman po, ito isa pang kandidato. The vice presidential candidate of Katipunan ng Kamalayang Kayumanggi said the country's need to address corruption should be seen as part of the country's need for a total constitutional change. Okay? Okay, itong sinabi niya. Until and unless we are also able to change the power structure, meaning yung monopoly po of economic power and the monopoly of political power, then we will not really be able to address this comprehensively and we cannot continue to provide for band-aid solutions, sinabi ni Serapio. So, kailangan daw talaga puksain or kailangan baguhin yung power structure, meaning the monopoly of economic power and the monopoly of political power. Or only then will we be able to address this comprehensively, okay, and we cannot provide for band-aid solutions. Sabi naman ni Senate President Vicente Tito Soto III, running mate to Ping Lacson, Senate President Soto of the Nationalist People's Coalition also promoted the shift to digital and emphasized the need to streamline systems by cutting down bureaucratic red tape. Anong ibig sabihin? Ang gobyerno po is napakalaki for a single body. What we need is internal cleansing. We must lead by example, Soto said. Saying his running mate and Partido Reforma standard bearer Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson did that when he headed the Philippine National Police. Okay, so Partido Lakas ng Masas Bello started his portion by actually singing Frank Sinatra's Where Are You? And the lines to the song, this is meant specifically for Sara Duterte and Bongbong Marcos. And I'll sing Frank Sinatra, Where Are You? Where did you go without me? I thought you cared about me. Where are you? He continued singing his own lyrics, hitting leading presidential and vice presidential bets Marcos and Duterte. The two skipped both of the debates organized by COMELEC held this weekend. Nasaan ka? Nasaan ang pera? Ibalik mo ang pera, ibalik mo na. Where are you? Where's the money? Return the money, return it already. Bello continued, referring to yung mga estate taxes po that Marcos family owes the government and alleged ill-gotten wealth that the government has been working to recover. Okay? Bello also hit rival Duterte by saying he plans on focusing on cleaning up Davao. Mas maaga earlier, during the VP debate, Bello threatened to walk out after calling out COMELEC's spinelessness for not imposing harsher sanctions on the Marcos-Duterte duo for refusing to attend debates to present their platforms to the Filipino people. Okay? So, yan po, no? Nagreklamo rin po siya kasi nga dapat daw may stricter sanctions tungkol sa mga hindi nag-attend ng mga debate. Okay? So, yan po ang contention ng mga vice presidentiables regarding digitalization, okay? On curbing corruption. Alright? Okay. Okay, let's just change my graphic a little bit. Alright? Ito naman po, balita para sa mga single parents kagaya ko. So, napunta yun. There you go. Hold on a second. Transform. Hold on. Okay, very good. All right. Okay, all right. So let's talk about, okay, single parents like me. I've been a single parent for the most part of my son's 20-year life. An advocacy group for solo parents took to social media to encourage its followers to vote for former PNP chief and senatorial candidate Guillermo Lorenzo Elizar in the May 9 elections. Bakit daw? Elizar was among the 7 senatorial candidates endorsed by the National Council for Solo Parents, Inc. or NCSP nung Sabado po, March 19. Alright? The endorsement was formally announced by the group on their Facebook page, which has more than 13,000 followers. Ang ini-endorse po ay si Elizar. Bakit? Kasi po siya ay nag-advocate na para sa mga rights and perks ng solo parents like me. The endorsement was formally announced dun sa Facebook. Okay? After a meeting of the Board of Directors of the National Council for Solo Parents, we hereby endorse the candidacy for the position of Senator of the following. Number 23, General Guillermo Elizar. Sinabi ng NCSP. Okay? Elizar thanked the group for their support as he vowed to include in his priorities the welfare of solo parents. Yahoo! Yan po tayo, solo parents, especially in helping them cope up with the challenges of the pandemic. Ako talaga po, I have been a solo parent for the most part of my son's 20 years of existence. Opo, tinaguyod po niyo pa ang aking anak at yun po siya yung mag-aral sa Ateneo. At that's why all that my efforts po, para sa aking anak. So, nagpapasalamat po ako sa suporta na binigay sa akin ng National Council for Solo Parents, sabi ni Elizar. Saludo ako sa mga magulang ng mag-isang tinataguyod ang kanilang mga anak, kahit pa ang ibig sabihin ito ay pareho nilang ginagampanan ang mga tungkulin at responsibilidad ng isang ama't ina. That's right, that's me. Lubos po ang aking respeto for mga single parents. Yan po ang sabi ni Elizar. Saludo siya sa mga magulang na mag-isang tinataguyod ang kanilang mga anak. That's right. That's me, mommy and daddy. Di ba? Ganun po talaga. Tapos, livelihood opportunities po. Kaya naman nais kong suklian ang inyong pagsasakripisyo sa pamamagitan ng pagtitiyak na kayo ay magkakaroon ng sapat na livelihood opportunities kahit na kayo ay nasa bahay lang. Kaya lang itong mga to may bracket din. Hindi naman lahat ng single parents magkakaroon ng ganyang benefit, no? Kasi nga, chinecheck pa kung capable ba kayo o hindi, or kailangan nyo ng ayuda o hindi. Pag nasa kondo ka, hindi ka nabibigyan ng ayuda. Dahil hindi mo na kailangan. Hindi Single parent, syempre every little bit naman counts. Elizar said he acknowledges solo parents' sacrifice in balancing their time between raising their children and earning a living. Talaga naman. Mahirap po. Ang hirap mag-juggle ng trabaho, asitasuhin ng anak, magtrabaho. Tell me about it. I know how it feels po na mag-work to death para sa ating mga anak. Kaya naman nais natin na palakasin ang kapasidad ng local government units para matulungan ang mga solo parents na kumita habang nasa bahay lang. Sa ganitong paraan ay maalagaan nilang kanilang pamilya at may source of income pa sila para itaguyod ang mag-anak sa gitna ng pandemya. Okay? In other words, okay, the local government aims to help solo parents to be able to earn from the house, to work from home, so that they can still take care of their families while trying to earn a living in this pandemic. Dapat ay magkaroon ding specific na opisina o unit sa bawat barangay na tutugon sa mga hinaing ng mga solo parents. Ang mga opisinang ito ay pwede rin magbigay ng seminar or trainings para sa mga solo parents na makakatulong sa kanila para ma-develop ang kanilang skills at maaring pagmula ng pagtatayo ng business. Elizar also said that his proposal would entail the collaboration of the Department of the Interior and Local Government, Department of Labor and Employment, Department of Trade and Industry and Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. Okay? Tama lang yan, right? Okay, on another note, okay, tapos na to. Itatabi ko lang yung graphics na nasa ulo ko. Thank you for this good news, so to speak. Okay. More technology and news in the Philippines. In connection to that, okay, dun sa mga hospital, si Senator Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri bats for regional specialty in hospitals. Okay, ano ibig sabihin? He is pushing for the establishment of specialty hospitals. Specialty hospitals, means sabihin, meron specific na tinatarget na sakit, no? Kailangan daw natin na mas marami pang specialty hospitals in regions outside Metro Manila. Similar to the Philippine Heart Center, yung Lung Center of the Philippines, Philippine Children's Medical Center, tsaka yung National Kidney and Transplant Institute, as well as the Philippine Cancer Center, to further enhance and make healthcare services more accessible. Tsaka mas targeted po yung mga sakit, no? Being from Mindanao myself, I am very much committed to decentralizing our healthcare system. Taga Bohol si Zubiri. And ensuring that we are able to deliver quality healthcare. Ayan, dadaan. Mag-hello ka sa camera. To every corner of the country. Ayan po, aking yaya, dumadaan. Okay? We're quite proud that we have developed a very competent medical care system. Hindi pala Bohol. Sorry. Correct me pala. Bukidnon pala si Senator Zubiri. I know. Maraming doon mga pineapple. Nakapag-golf na ako doon sa Bukidnon. Okay, a very competent medical care system in Bukidnon with zero balance billing for indigent patients. Long before the zero balance billing of the amended Universal Healthcare Act was ever commissioned or Zubiri is from Bukidnon, hindi Bohol, and began his public service career as a representative of the province 3rd Congressional District. Boosting healthcare sa mga probinsya, okay? It's so important that we strengthen our medical care system in our provinces. Sa ngayon kasi, kailangan pang lumuwas ng mga tao mula sa probinsya papuntang Maynila kung magpapagamot sa mga specialty hospitals na na-mention natin kanina. Kung hindi naman sila makakaluwas, ayun po ay nagluluto. Ang option lang ay magpunta sa private hospitals na sobrang mahal naman. Pero kung wala kang sasakyan o kahit pamasahe para makaluwas ng Maynila, sigurado wala ka ring private hospital. This is the reality for millions of Filipinos, kaya hindi nila ito napapagamot. And translated, it's so important to help that we strengthen our medical healthcare system in the provinces. Because for now, the people from the provinces need to go to Manila in order to go to these specialty hospitals. And if they can't go to Manila, their only option is to go to the private hospitals that are more expensive and unaffordable to a lot of people. And if you don't have transportation or even the money to transportation allowance so that you can go to Manila, and I'm sure they won't be able to afford the private hospitals as well. And this is the reality millions of people, Filipinos face. Kaya hindi sila nagpapagamot, okay? At kung kaya namang lumuwas, mahirap naman din magpa-schedule ng treatment sa ating mga specialty hospitals dito sa Manila. It can take months to get a slot. Maliban na lang kung life or death situation na. Hindi naman pwedeng hintayin panahumantong sa ganyan. So translated again, and if they're able to provide transportation or go to the to Manila, their hurdle naman would be trying to schedule the appointments with these specialty hospitals because puno na nga. And sometimes it takes months to get a slot. Okay? Not unless it's a life and death situation where they really have to transport the patients to Manila because of life-threatening emergencies. Okay? So, bringing healthcare closer to the people. Imbes na paluwasin natin ang mga tao, dapat dalhin natin ang mga ospital sa kanila. So we have started working with local government units to do this. Last year, we passed the Bacolod City General Hospital Act to cater to the residents of Bacolod and nearby cities and municipalities. Okay. This hospital was also established in an effort to decongest the Corazon Locsin Montelibano Memorial Regional Hospital, which was the only tertiary hospital in Negros Occidental at the time. We are also doing this in Iloilo with our bill establishing a tertiary hospital for the city. We will be having a hearing on the bill this week and hopefully we can get it passed sa Congress. Okay? So, in conclusion, beyond general hospitals. But we want to go beyond general hospitals. Siyempre, tuloy ang efforts natin na magtayo ng general hospitals, especially for sa mga lugar or places that don't have tertiary hospitals yet. But along with these, isusulang pa rin natin na makapagpatayo ng regional specialty hospitals. At the very least, please, we want to put up counterpart heart, lung, kidney, cancer, and children's centers in the Visayas and Mindanao and in northern and southern Luzon, aside from the ones in Metro Manila. Okay? So, pag natayo na po natin itong mga specialty hospitals, magiging mutually beneficial na rin ang ating mga doktor para sa Bayan Act or the Republic Act 11509. Okay? The said law mandates that the state should set up a medical scholarship and return service program for medical students in state universities and colleges and provide higher education institutions. Furthermore, the law mandates that every region in the country have at least one Department of Health run hospital, where medical scholars can take their internships in these specialty hospitals, and in this way we will be strengthening our medical schools and also strengthening our hospitals. Okay? All right. Okay? So, ayun po, yung balita tungkol, okay, sa pagsulong ng na yan, na for specialty hospitals to be built dyan po sa mga probinsya na para hindi na kailangan lumuwas, no? Para magpagamot. Okay? Okay, so of course, tuloy pa rin sa politics. Nakita niyo po yung gathering po ng Lenny Kiko sa Manila kahapon. Grabe kadaming tao. Right? The Lenny Kiko Pasig Rally draws biggest crowd so far. Grabe yun, no? Sige ba makita? Let me see if I can manage to show you. Hold on po. Let's see if I can show you. Wala. Bakit wala? Let me see. Bakit wala? Bakit wala naman yung nakikita? Ba't ganun? Window capture. Okay. There you go. Ayun. Nasaan na? Ayan, see? Oh. Right? You see that? Yan, no? Pink na pink, oh. Ang, ano to, Ortigas ba to? See? That's right, right? A Pasig River wave of pink washed over Emerald Avenue sa Pasig City kahapon. As early as noon on Sunday that saw skyscraper with splashes of presidential candidate Leni Robredo's color. A predominantly young crowd of at least 137,000, according to the Pasig City Police, spilled over to EDSA and adjoining streets from the entire stretch of Emerald in the Ortigas Business District. The crowd estimate was later placed by organizers at 180,000 people. The Grand People's Rally, held 50 days before Election Day, was the largest crowd the ticket has gathered so far. Crafting so-called Pasig River wave starting from the main stage, the tail end of the wave could barely be seen from its starting point. Hello there, Miss Cynthia Buste. I've missed you. Kamusta na po kayo? Good morning. At sa lahat po ng televiewers, pasalamat po tayo for joining us today. Okay? The crowding prompted program hosts to remind the audience to strictly observe health protocols and to make sure to call the attention of medics should they feel nauseous due to the warm weather. Kasi po, mainit na yung panahon eh. So nakabilad sila dyan kahapon, tanghali pa lang, no? The Pasig Laban Grand Rally also saw the birth of a Lenny slide dance move to supposedly usher in a win for the presidential candidate. Senators in the tandem of Robredo and Senator Francis Kiko Pakinggan delivered their campaign speeches, with Robredo finally addressing the crowd late in the evening. The grand rally ended at 8:45 p.m. Nagkaroon po ng mga false bomb threats kahapon. Meanwhile, the last surviving members of the 1971-1972 Constitutional Convention assembled under the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos regime on Sunday came out in support of Robredo. The 13 signatories, which include Senator Richard Gordon, Chief Justice Hilario Davide, and Laila de Lima, said only Leni Robredo meets and fits the highest credentials for the presidency. Okay? Very good. Thank you, Miss Cynthia, and thank you for the stars. Thank you for the care. Thank you for the concern and the hearts and love. Thank you po. Thank you so much. Okay, and to address and face up to these formidable challenges, okay, facing the country, we need a tried and tested leader who's capable, caring, sincere, focused, and most of all, godly, who does not steal and does not lie. In supporting Robredo, 13 delegates cited her concrete action programs and blemished track record and her long public service and marginalized sectors of the country as proof that she was more than qualified for the presidency. Gordon, the youngest delegate in the convention, is also a guest candidate on Robredo and Pangilinan's ticket. On Sunday, the Philippine National Police warned persons posting bomb threats on social media that they could be held liable under a Marcos law punishing false bomb threats. The Facebook page of a group organizing the grand rally in Pangasinan for Robredo and Pangilinan was hounded by bomb threats, possibly from supporters, of course, obviously, of rival candidates. Police Colonel Jean Fajardo, spokesperson for the PNP, said in a message on Sunday that false bomb threats included those posted on social media. Ayun na nga ba yung sinasabi, di ba? Na mas mas maging vigilant tayo sa pag-sensor ng mga lumalabas sa social media, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, because yan yung mga campaign against COVID-19, against vaccination, and pati sa election, no? The law is clear on this, referring to the Presidential Decree number 1727, which was signed into law by the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos in 1980. Fajardo particularly cited a provision where the law explicitly provides mga sanction po at parusa for lawless elements and other persons popularly known or described as yung mga prankster, yung mga nagpa-prank na yan na nagbabomb threat pero hindi seryoso. Hello, nakukulong yon. Having been conveying, propagating, or otherwise disseminating false information or willfully making threats regarding the alleged presence of bombs, explosives, incendiary devices, or any similar device or means of destruction in buildings, tenement, and other places. Ito kasi, no, yung pag-spread ng fake news na yan by word of mouth or through the use of cell phones, telegraph, mall. Kaya nga pag election or pag may campaign, di ba pinapatay yung yung mga cell site. Kasi nga, may mga nagsispread ng mga yan. Fake news or bomb alert or mananakot, you know. So, other means of communication for the purpose of causing or creating public confusion and disorder. Yan ang mahirap dyan, okay? So, yan po ang ating balita tungkol doon sa eleksyon, alright? So, iwasan, okay? Same time, yan po yung nangyari na rally, okay? Kahapon, alright? So, let me just remove that out of the way, alright? Okay. Now, news naman po sa international regarding technology of Netflix, okay? Anong nangyari? Let's see. Okay, let's see what's up with Netflix. Netflix tests charging a fee to share accounts. Ayan po. Kung sineshare nyo po yung account nyo ng Netflix sa mga hindi nyo kasama sa bahay, baka mag-charge na raw ang Netflix ng extra. Oh my goodness. Okay? Alright? Kung ako, anak ko malayo sa akin. Pero sinishare ko yung Netflix account ko sa kanya because we can add naman 4 or 3. From San Francisco, United States of America, Netflix on Wednesday said it is testing charging a fee to subscribers who share their accounts with people who don't live in their homes. Ano naman na nila malalaman yung kung di nakatira sa'yo? Hello. The US-based streaming service has long taken a relaxed approach to users sharing passwords with family or friends, but recently saw stock dive on quarterly results that showed cooling subscriber growth. Competition in the streaming television market, meanwhile, has been ramping up, particularly from Disney Plus, with the cost of producing coveted original shows climbing as well. Excuse me, please. Okay. Competition in the streaming television market, meanwhile, is ramping up, particularly dahil yun sa sa Disney Plus. Okay. In the coming weeks, Netflix will begin offering subscribers in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru the option to add as many as 2 people to sub-accounts at a monthly fee of $2 to $3. So mag-charge na extra para sa mga extra accounts. New Netflix Production Innovation Director Cheng Long explained, "We recognize that people have many entertainment choices. So we want to ensure any new features as flexible and useful for members whose subscriptions fund all our great TV and films." Okay? Sinabi ito ni Long sa isang blog post. The Silicon Valley streaming titan has been working on ways to for subscribers to share outside their household. Talaga lang, ha? While also paying a bit more, she said. Netflix said it will allow people already sharing accounts to transfer profile and viewing history information to new sub-accounts. So magdadagdag pa ng pwedeng i-add sa account, pero of course for more money, right? Long said the company will study the utility of the new model in the 3 countries before making changes anywhere else. Okay, inom na muna po. So wala po tayong mabang mga tanong. Of course, if there are any suggestions or questions, please feel free to post Here po sa ating programa, habang tayo nagsishow, you can also send questions through my messenger, through my email, and of course, if you have suggestions on resource people to be on the show, maaari po lamang na please paki-message lang po ako sa messenger or sa Facebook ko or through my email, which is techiemommy@gmail.com. Okay? Netflix ended last year with 221.8 million subscribers, just below target, after booming during coronavirus lockdowns that kept people at home and on the platform. Things are not looking better for the first quarter of 2022. Bakit? With the most recent Netflix earnings report saying the firm expected to add only 2.5 million subscribers. Okay? Most of the 8.3 million subscriptions added at the end of last year came from outside North America, according to the streaming service. Okay, Netflix recently announced subscription price bumps in the United States, with the basic option now costing, ang cost na po ng Netflix ay $9.99 and ang pinakamahal na subscription ng Netflix po ay $19.99. So ang gusto ng Netflix po ay magdagdag ng at least $3 or $2 more kung pinapagamit daw yung account or binibigay natin yung password sa ibang account. But yun na nga, ngayon kasi there's additional fee aside from you na owner ng account, pwede ka magdagdag ng 3 tao. So ano pang gusto nilang gawin ngayon? I-charge yung mga ano na yun ng extra $3? Ano naman talaga, okay? Alright. So yun po ang balita tungkol sa Netflix. On another note naman, sa travel and tourism, okay? Japan tourism campaigns puts focus on authentic rural experiences, invites returning residents to travel to Asia. Okay? Ayan po ang sinabi. Hindi ko mabuksan kasi sponsored daw na news yun. Oh, really? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I was saying, New Japan tourism campaign puts focus on authentic rural experiences and invites returning travelers from Asia. Okay. This is very fresh from the news from Philippine Star Global. The campaign will provide information on local and unique experience activities that can only be enjoyed in rural areas to repeat travelers to Asia, to impress them with Japan's unique and memorable experiences, to discover a new Japan as a travel destination. The Japan National Tourism Organization, or ang JNTO, will launch a large-scale campaign aimed at discovering Japan's hidden gems, expanding awareness of local experience-based content, and increasing motivation to visit Japan in the future. Ako, sinabi ko yan sa anak ko talaga na after pandemic, pupunta kami sa Japan kasi on the many trips that I had to Japan, it was all business. I never went to Japan on a leisurely visit like a vacation, kahit man lang 3 araw. Kasi the whole time na nagpupunta ako sa Japan, I've been to Kyoto, Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka. Yun po, I used to go to Akihabara to buy my gadgets. Iba na ngayon na Akihabara. I learned na Akihabara is now an anime place. Because at least more than 10 years ago na at ako last nagpunta sa Japan. And gusto kong pumunta ron ng leisurely trip na mag-sightseeing, magkain ng mga street food, and experience the beauty of Japan, not as in a stressed manner na trabaho, right? Okay, so the campaign will provide information on local unique experience activities that can only be enjoyed in rural areas to repeat travelers in Asia, to impress them with Japan's unique and memorable experiences, and to discover a new Japan as a travel destination. Nabubulol-bulol ako. With the purpose of addressing future travel needs to Japan, the new campaign will also target 10 markets to come to Japan: South Korea, China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and of course, the Philippines. Ang Philippines, hindi na kailangan niya ng masyadong campaigning to come to Japan. Talagang second nature na ng Pinoy makadating sa Japan. Nung araw, Hong Kong lang. Ngayon, Japan na, okay? The growing need for travel to Japan. As a result of JNTO's survey of the impression of Japan for future visits, From overseas residents, it was found that the inherent strengths or attractions of Japan, such as history, traditional culture, sceneries, and landscape, improve their impressions and motivation to visit Japan. Yun na pala naman eh. Okay? Yung rich culture na gusto nilang datnan doon. Hindi mo naman makakaila. You can still see it all around. Okay? A survey of 8,034 overseas residents from 13 countries and regions was conducted on their interest in Japan and changes in attitude as a result of the project. Okay. So ngayon, survey of overseas residents shows increased willingness to visit Japan after the pandemic, equivalent to 390 million people in 13 target countries and regions. Okay. All right. So, survey of overseas residents shows that the increased willingness to visit Japan after the pandemic, ang equivalent nito ay 390 million in 13 target countries and regions. Okay? Yan po yung mga gusto magbiyahe after the pandemic. Dispelling anxiety on COVID-19. Okay, paano natin maalis ang ating anxiety? In addition to JNTO is taking the following measures to dispel the concerns of visitors to Japan regarding the pandemic. Bear with me, hanapin ko. Programa nito ng ating where are my doing ideas? Anyway, nawala. So growing the need to travel to Japan, so in closure to that, okay, mas nadami inaenggan yung bumalik sa Japan, yung mga balikbayan nila to enjoy the beauty of Japan, okay? So, in addition to that, JNTO is taking the following measures to dispel the concerns of visitors to Japan regarding the pandemic, okay? Gusto nating makita, I will show you, alright? Let me show you again the screen so that you could know what I'm looking at. Ay, mali. Ano na, show. Let's do it again. Okay. Ano nangyari? Ayan, there's something blocking my view. Anyway, so going back to what I was saying, ito nangyari dito. May nakaharang sa screen ko. Anyway, so another topic that I want to talk about, never mind. Kasi dito sa screen ko, meron ayan na naman mag-glitches. Meron makyat na, I don't know. It doesn't want to come off my screen. It doesn't want to get away from my screen. Oh my gosh. Anyway, meron pong technical glitch. May humarang sa aking screen. Hindi ako makabasa ng mabuti. I think I can maybe take a look at it through there. Okay, EU to annul Russian oil embargo with Biden set to join talks, okay? Kasi di ba ang Amerika, niya talaga yan, binablock din lahat ng anything Russian sa Amerika. And of course, we don't want America to fully interfere because it's gonna reach World War III. Kung hindi natin maiwasan, right? Anyway, so Ano ba to? Russia has again fired hypersonic nuclear. Ayoko na yan. Ano yan? Nakakainis. Diba? Okay. Regarding the world, regarding the war, okay, ito ang news, okay, Ukraine rejects Putin's ultimatum to surrender Mariupol. Ano naman, demonyo yan. Ukraine on Monday rejected an ultimatum to surrender the besieged city of Mariupol, its deputy prime minister told local media, demanding Moscow instead to allow hundreds of thousands of terrified residents to safe passage, to release them. We can't talk about surrendering weapons. Irina Bereshko told Ukraine's Pravda hours before a Russian deadline. We have already informed the Russian side about it, she said, demanding Moscow instead open humanitarian corridors to allow an estimated 350,000 people still trapped in the city area. They can't leave, okay? Russia's Minister of Defense had earlier said Ukraine had until 5 a.m. on March 21 to respond to Russian proposals, warning that more than a court-martial awaits those who do not surrender. Okay? Russia's Ministry of Defense had earlier said Ukraine had until 5 a.m. on March 21, which is today, to respond to Russian proposals, warning that more than a court-martial awaits those who do not surrender. We call on units of the armed forces of Ukraine, territorial defense battalions, foreign mercenaries, to stop hospitals, lay down their arms, said the head of the Russian National Defense Control Center. Ano ba naman to? Napasuko na lahat na ng syempre itatanggalin. We call only on the armed forces of Ukraine, territorial defense battalions, foreign mercenaries to stop the hostilities, lay down the arms, okay, at sumuko na. The southern port of Mariupol is a pivotal target in Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine, providing a land bridge between Russia forces in Crimea to the southwest and Russian-controlled territory of the north and east. The city has been under heavy bombardment from surrounding Russian forces since the start of the invasion on February 24. So hindi sila susuko, okay? Sorry to say, hindi po sila susuko. All right. Next on our agenda, okay. Sandali lang po Ito kasi marami kong okay. All right. Now we talk on different issue, but before we go, sandali lang, kasi merong mga mami na nagtanong, okay? Empathy, comfort, and responsibility. Paano daw nakakatulong yung mga pet sa pandemic sa ating mga anak? Having a new pet at home, whether it's a dog, cat, or fish, takes effort and commitment. It's like having another child that needs care and nurturing. Smart Parenting talked to 5 moms who are also parents about what it's like to have pets at home and the benefits of having new furry friends for their kids. Pero actually talaga, itong pandemya, nakatulong din yung magkaroon ng mga pets sa bahay, di ba? Kaya dami-dami ngayon, nakikita mo ng mga posts din sa Instagram, sa Facebook, WhatsApp, sila pinapost nila yung pets nila. Tsaka more and more malls, di ba? Ang nagbukas ang pet-friendly, makikita mo, hindi lang sa BGC, dito sa Pampanga, sa Vista Mall na lang, allowed yung mga pets. So, nakakapasyal yung mga pets kasama ng mga amo nila. Most of them become emotional to share their stories, how the pets have helped them in this pandemic situation. Okay? Si Blossom Morante gave their daughter, Sabia, a pet dog for her 10th birthday. Our unique Iha had always asked for a sibling or a pet since she was about 5 or 6 years old. So that's when they welcomed Prince, a male Shih Tzu, in their home. Blossom opened up that her 12-year-old daughter was deeply affected during the height of the lockdown. Okay, may time na sobrang anxiety ng anak ko because she couldn't see her friends, hindi makalabas, stuck at home. Talaga naman, lalo na yung mga bata at yung matanda, di ba? For almost 2 years nakakulong sa bahay. Only like late last year lang na alert level 2 na pinayagan sila lumabas. Last December, they decided to get a second dog, Duchess, having pets helped her a lot because she felt that she's not alone and she can have cuddle times with them. When the dogs are barking, running around, wrestling and scratching, our daughter shows a sense of maturity by calling them out and catching their attention to play fetch. Yeah. Okay, it turns out talaga naman, nakatulong to have playful and happy moments para sa mga anak natin yung magkaroon ng pet sa bahay, right? In this pandemic, okay? Yan po, malaking bagay po yung magkaroon ng pet. Next, I think having a play date kasi is playtime with your pet. Kung nung araw yung mga anak natin lumalabas with their classmates on play dates, sa pandemya na ito, yung mga pet ang kasama nila. Alright? So yun po, nakatulong mga pets. Hi, Joey Ortiz! Welcome to the show and thank you also. Anyway po, on this note po, napakarami pang pwedeng pag-usapan pero bukas na lang natin po ituloy because we've reached the end of our rope. It's almost time again for lunch and lunchtime ang budget po ng aking pag-end ng programa. Thank you so much for joining me today. Very, very, hello there, Cynthia. Hello, Angelica. Hello, Tita Agnes. Hello, Joy Ortiz. Hello sa mga nakatutok na hindi ko makita ang pangalan. Thank you so much. And of course, at the end of the day, 3 things should remain in our hearts. Faith, pag-asa, hope, pananampalataya, and love, pagmamahal sa lahat. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. But wala,
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa mundo ng online sa pamamagitan pa rin ng Broad Stream Cast Communicators. Hanggang sa muli, maraming salamat po.